I want to tell you a little bit about the ancient Egyptian method of representing fractions. We represent fractions, of course, usually with a numerator and a denominator, with a number like, say, 2/7, 2/7, or 3/7. But the Egyptians had a really weird method, weird by our standards, where they would represent fractions as a sum of unit fractions. So, for instance, 3/5 might be represented as 1/5 plus, I haven't figured it out. Well, I don't know, plus 1/10. Well, 3/10 would be 1/5 plus 1/10. Why they chose to use what we would call unit fractions, which have a numerator of 1, nobody knows. One interesting thing about the unit fractions is that a representation in terms of a sum of unit fractions is not unique. There can be more than one way to do it. So that leads to the question, well, why did they pick the particular representation that they did, and nobody really seems to know. There are a couple of papyri that we have from ancient Egypt which give the mathematical knowledge that we now have of what ancient Egyptians knew. One of them is called the Rind papyrus, and a large part of that is actually dedicated to giving a table which shows how to convert from 2 over a number, like 2/7 or 2/25 or whatever, to a sum of unit fractions. It shows how to represent things as unit fractions. The reason they did that 2 over a number is because their method of doing multiplication, or even division, was called a doubling method. So if they wanted to multiply two numbers together, even if one of them involved some fractions, they would double it repeatedly over and over, and then add together the appropriate results to get the number that they wanted. So for instance, 5 is equal to 4 plus 1, so if you want to multiply something by 5, you would double it twice, that multiplies it by 4, and then add it to the original number, so you've now multiplied it by 5. And if what you're multiplying is a fraction, then every time you double it, since it was originally written as a unit fraction, you're going to get 2 over a number. So if you started off with, say, 1/5 plus 1/7, and you double it, you'll get 2/5 and 2/7. In order to be able to represent that as unit fractions again, you would go to that table that was in the Rind papyrus, and it would show you how to represent each of those as unit fractions. You could then combine things and simplify things and repeat the process until you'd written your answer as a sum of unit fractions. Again, sort of a strange method. We don't really know why the ancient Egyptians did it that way, but that was how they represented fractions.